Good morning, afternoon, or evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to 19 to the Dozen, or as I like to call it, the 1912 podcast. I'm your host, Kane, and joined with me today is someone who I've known from college. Her name is Tanya Kuriakose. She has experience working with a multi-level marketing organization, and this is something that I've been really interested in for quite a while now. If anyone's seen my Instagram and Facebook, and I don't even know WhatsApp status updates, she's here to discuss what exactly is going on with these guys. Is it a deceptive practice? Is it a pyramid scheme? I get all these questions answered for me on the show, so I had a really long and interesting discussion with her. So, without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, Tanya Kuriakose, thank you very much. 3, 2, 1, and we are live. Tanya, thank you for coming on the show.
My pleasure.
It's always good speaking to someone who I haven't spoken to in a very, very long time.
Yeah,
so,
it's been a long time.
So if I remember correctly, you were in IHM but a year junior to me, I believe, or 2 years.
I guess so. I thought it was 2 years, but...
2 years? When did you graduate? 2012, 13? 12. So 1 year. Yeah, because I graduated in 2011.
1 year. Okay.
Yeah, so 1 year junior.
So much for knowing my seniors.
That's okay, man. We don't like it. I know a lot of the juniors as well within IHM, but really, if you had to ask me which year they are in, I don't know. Yeah, because it's all. I mean, I just know. Okay, you're from IHM. Like, if you ask me, what
so many faces, right?
Yeah, exactly. There's like way too many people. Like we had like 100 and something people in our class or so.
Oh yeah. 300. 100 and something. Yeah.
Yeah, it was ridiculous the amount of people in our class in IHM. So like it's hard to really keep up with.
It's hard to recollect. Yeah, I mean, you know them by the face, you won't know them by the name. So
yeah,
exactly. It happens. I'm not very good with names, so.
Yeah, me neither. Yeah. I'm terrible with faces as well. You know, like I meet people one day and people think like I'm a snob that way because I don't say hi to them. And I'm like, dude, I just don't remember your face. I'm sorry if if I remembered you, I'd say hi. But you know, like it's happened so many times with me, you know, that I just like meet people and I just forget what they look like. And one day they'll come up to me and be like, hey, and I'll be like, I look at them like all awkwardly, like, hey, I don't really remember
who are you?
Yeah.
I know.
So, all right.
So it seems like I'm like following your footpath, right? Like following your steps, sorry.
Yeah. Coming to Canada, studying in the same university.
Same university. Oh my God. That's like, I remember I contacted you once, so.
Yeah, a while ago. It's good. I'm glad that I have some people who I knew back in India here in Canada. You know, as they always say, like 83% of the students who come here are like don't have any friends, really. And it's hard to mix with the locals over here just because of the cultural differences and stuff. Like especially in the beginning for me. Yeah, I mean for me in the beginning, like I'm a fairly introverted person. I don't really, you know, I'm not like a loud talker. So if you remember Clevel in IHM, who doesn't, right? Yeah, I'm the exact who doesn't.
Exactly.
I'm the opposite of him. You know, I don't really talk too much. But yeah, when I initially came over here, like I found it really hard to mix with people. Just because the things are so different, really, between you know, small things, you know, like getting off the bus, you say thank you to the bus driver. Like I was just like, really? you thank the bus driver?
You know, I made that a habit back in Mumbai.
Really?
Yes, and the drivers used to be like so happy. It literally made their day, and. I remembered some of them would like struggle to say you're welcome, but I kind of made it a habit because somehow you just have to appreciate the way they drive through that traffic and get you home on time.
Right.
So.
Yeah, I agree. Like the traffic in Bombay is horrible, and for those guys who like to deal with the crowd and to deal with the traffic and, the passengers and everything. You know how the
I know.
passengers are over there, right? So I can imagine it's not going to be a particularly easy job for them. So
It
I
isn't.
completely get
Yeah.
it. But I used to not travel by
Mm.
bus in Bombay. Like, I used to travel like mostly I used to take the train, because when I was in
Oh,
IHM,
okay.
I used to live in Byculla, so I would take the Byculla station, the central line, and get off in the other. So it was like 10 minutes, really. And I would walk
Ah,
from the station
okay.
to college and then walk back again.
Mm.
So I never really took the bus. I took it in Xavier's for a very brief period. But then after that, like,
Mm-hmm.
I just didn't even bother with the bus. But really, why you are here today is to talk about something
Yeah.
that I've been hounding for like the past 1 month. I've been really like getting in deep with this topic: multi-level
Mm.
marketing, or network
Mm-hmm.
marketing, as they call it. There are a whole bunch of words
Mm-hmm.
for it. And
There are. Yeah.
you were very briefly in multi-level marketing. So really
I
what
was.
yeah. And when you reached out to me, you told me a whole bunch of different things that I was just like, holy shit, I didn't even know any of this. So um,
It's the insider.
it's the insider
You
talk,
need.
and
Yeah, exactly.
Mhm. And I don't have any inside knowledge in this. I have met a few people who worked in multi-level marketing, and they tried to recruit
Mm-hmm.
me. But
Oh,
yeah,
interesting.
they did try to recruit me. There were 3 or 4 different people who I met. They did try to recruit me, but I always ended up saying no, because of many different reasons, which we'll get into. So, what I really want
Mm-hmm.
to first touch upon is what exactly got you into multi-level marketing in the first place.
So this company that I worked with, or rather I was recruited into, I was aware of the products. So from childhood itself, my mom used to buy it from some lady, and I don't know who, but it's basically household products that you get, like, dishwashers, even makeup and nutrients, like those supplements. So I was aware of the brand name. And one day I just met one of our family friends who, was introduced to this. And I was not really recruited. I was kind of pushed into it. I was in between jobs, and she kind of wanted my mom to join, but my mom was busy with work and other stuff. And my mom was like, you know what, just make her happy, just join this firm. So I was aware of the brand, but I was not aware of how things were done here. So that's how I got into this whole MLM marketing scheme.
Right.
To
And
put
for how
it that
long
way.
were you
Yeah,
with them?
I think for about 7 to 8 months.
Okay, so it's a decently
It's a
long time.
brief time, but
Hmm.
then you're you're always working with this network and
Hmm.
going out and selling. So, but I would say it's not for everyone. And
Hmm.
especially when you're between jobs, it's a really good way to earn something.
Hmm.
So, yeah.
So for those of us who don't really understand multi-level marketing, and
Mm-hmm.
are probably gonna, if you're in Canada, you're probably gonna get approached by someone who's gonna recruit you for multi-level marketing.
Really?
I know a lot of people who've been approached. Um,
Oh,
yeah,
um,
yeah. So I've met quite a few people who have been.
mm-hmm.
So for those of us who don't know what multi-level marketing is, or multi-level marketing organization is, what is it exactly?
Okay, so it's basically a strategy, a marketing strategy that a company would use to sell its product. So let's say if company A has a product, a really good product, and they want it to be uh, probably they don't want to invest in a lot of marketing. What they do is they bring people, they recruit them, and these people in turn become distributors. So one person will go out and approach more people and recruit them, and they'll also be selling the product, but at the same time they'll keep recruiting. So it's basically you're creating a network to sell your brand and market your brand. So
Right.
that's the simple way of explaining what the multi-level marketing is.
Right.
And what
So
the company does. Yeah.
so when you approach people, how do
Mm-hmm.
you how is the approach? How does the approach happen? Is it over the internet? Is it in person? What is the usual strategy to approach someone who want to sell your product?
Okay. So let's say let's take for example how I was recruited, right? So
Mhm.
there was this lady who met me where I'm known to the person. She gave me a sample of her products. We tried it out. And one day she said, why don't you come to one of our meetings? So I was like, okay, sure. I don't have anything much to do. Let's go for the meeting. And there, they're talking about the products. So they're basically talking about the sales strategy. They're training you about the products. So it's this one person who's, let's take a supplement, for example. They're, saying, this is what this product is about. It's good for your knee. It's great for people who are between a certain age. So for seniors, and yeah, they have a lot of training sessions. So once you go there, you kind of get introduced to a lot of people. You meet a lot of people who are successful at this, and that's when you are like, okay, this is probably something that we can do. Um, yeah,
How do you sell
that's
the products? Like I understand the recruitment
um,
process. So how do you sell it?
yeah. So first, you start with giving out samples to people. So you are going to approach your family member or going out and meeting people, friends. The easiest way to sell a product is through your friends. So you talk about the product and you tell them this is what it is for, and yeah, that's how it starts with your friends, and then your friends recommending their friends. So the
Got
more
it.
you network, the more you're able to sell the product. It's not something that you do online. It's not something that you would do over the phone or something, because you need to go there in person and talk to them about what each product is for. You need to understand what they need. It's basically a similar thing where any salesperson would do, right?
Mhm.
Let's take Tupperware, for example. I don't know if you've met anyone who's sold Tupperware to you, but
No, I have not.
I've had people who've come home in Bombay. They just they just come to your house and they'll be like, these are the range of a product. So you're seeing the product, you're feeling the quality, and that's how you kind of get into buying it, right? So it's similar in this strategy as well, where you're going to people and you're talking about the product and you're trying to sell them uh, that that product. Yeah.
So how do you make money? Do you make money from the commission of per product that you sell, or how does it work?
There are two options. So the first option is you recruit more people, and the more they sell, the more commission you can get. So let's say if I have I need to meet a minimum number of people now. If I need to earn commission, I have to make build a network of at least 20 people, and those 20 people again have to meet a minimum sales so that I can earn a commission. So that's one way. The second way is I can just sell it at a retail price. So if I'm an independent business owner and I'm already, having a like let's say a store, and I'm having whatever products, I can keep these products as well and just sell it at the retail price. So that's
Right.
one way, because there is a wholesale price obviously and then a retail price. So
Hmm.
that's you earn through margins or you earn through your network. That's basically how
Got
it
it.
works. Yeah.
So the first method that you said was where the
Mm-hmm.
people who you recruit get you the commission as well. Isn't that a pyramid scheme?
No, I don't think it's a pyramid scheme, because if you see a pyramid scheme, uh, there is a misconception here, because people are in a pyramid scheme, people are asked to invest money, right? There are many companies who would want you to invest money to join their network.
Right.
But here, there is no investment. So what you do is you have the option to, if I have been recruited by someone, I have the option to create my own network, or I can just, set up a business,
So you're
earn
not
some.
actually, sorry, so you're not actually buying the products from the person who's recruited you.
No. So that's where, okay. So there is one part to it. So when I started off, I did not have much, I did not have many people to buy my product. So what I would do is, if I just get 1 or 2 orders, I would buy it from my recruiter. But the minute I get, an order of maybe, let's say, $500 or something, that's when I can order it without being charged for the delivery, right? There's a delivery fee.
Mm-hmm.
So that's when I can order and sell my products. But no, so
but you are
it's not
investing
compulsory.
you are investing some money in getting these products though, right?
Yes. So it's like, let's say, if I would know what my network needs, right? So if I have a network, I know what's actually selling. So I buy $1,000 or $2,000 worth products, and I keep it at home, and my network comes and buys it from me because they don't have many orders. What happens is, if I'm not able to sell something, the company will still buy back some of it, right? So there is that that insurance that,
How much do
okay,
they buy back?
I think about 80%. But
You mean
yeah, but
80% of the products which you haven't sold?
yes,
Okay.
yes,
And do they buy it at the
yeah,
same price that you bought it for? Or do
yeah.
they give
Most
you
of the time they do. They
okay.
do. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But again, it really depends on what the company, which company you're dealing with. There are companies that don't buy. So, you really need to know what you're dealing with when you join.
Right. So in like, so how do you did you in your time working with
Mhm.
this company, did you ever make a profit?
I didn't do much business, to be honest, to actually make a profit. So, like I said, again, it differs from person to person. So,
Right,
I'm
of
not the
course.
kind of person who would actually go out and meet people just to sell a product. No, no, that's
Mm-hmm.
not me.
Mm-hmm.
um, but I did make a little bit of money. What I did was, okay. So when I first started off getting orders, it was not much. Like, I had to pay a huge delivery fee. So I had to go to my recruiter and buy it. And that's when I realized, hey, I'm not getting anything out of this, because she's selling it to me at the same price, and I'm expected to sell it to them at the same price. So there's no profit. So I started selling it at the retail. So I made a little money.
Mm-hmm.
But then I know people who have been able to go out and create a network, who in turn help them get a commission.
Right.
So they earn maybe $500,000 a month just doing that as a side business, just through commissions. So
Got it.
yeah,
So
it is possible to earn
so
a
how
big
much
profit.
of the profit actually comes from selling the product versus you recruiting people?
So assume that there's a $25 markup on each product,
Mm-hmm.
approximately.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It depends on how many products you sell at the end of the day, right?
Right.
But if you have 20 people under you selling 100 products, you know, you get that commission. So I think the commission structure again changes. It really depends on the company, maybe you'll get 5% from each sale that is made, or each person who makes a sale. That's how
Right.
it is. And it's not that the company calculates the commission structure. So it
Got
kind
it.
of differs, but you might get 5 and your recruiter might get another 3 or 4 or 5. Depends.
So it just flows all the way to the top, essentially.
Yes. Yeah.
Got it. But so that would be a pyramid scheme in that case, right?
Yeah.
Because you are
See,
technically
that's
making an investment, right? You are technically making an investment. You are technically buying their products to sell to someone else. But at the same time, whatever you make a sale out of, a bit of that
mhm.
goes to the person above you, and a bit of that goes to the person above him, and so on and so forth, right? So in essence, that does sound like a pyramid scheme to me. So
It kind of does, but then again, in a pyramid scheme, not you are when you join, you're supposed to invest some money, right? There is a joining fee and things like that. In this case, there isn't a joining fee, and what you're doing is A has made a sale, so B gets part of the commission, C gets part of the commission, D gets part of the commission, and A is also getting a profit. So it's not like A hasn't made any money. Now, again, it depends on this person if they have gone out and recruited people. So I must have made, like, let's say if I made $25, then, okay, so if I make $25, the people above me are not going to make anything, right? So I have to get an order which is like
sorry,
$5,000
what do you mean by
so that
the people above you will not get anything if you get
so
$25?
my recruiter, okay, so one rule is that you need a minimum number of people to so that you can actually start earning commissions. So it's usually about 20 to 25. It
Hmm.
depends on the company you're dealing with. Again, that whoever you have recruited has to make a certain number of sales. So it varies. It could be $2,000 to $5,000 worth of orders, right? So if this person makes $5,000 of worth of orders, places of $5,000 worth of orders, so I will get some part of that commission,
Hmm.
right? So you have to meet that minimum amount.
Right. So it seems like there's more incentive for people to recruit others as opposed to actually selling the product. That's the way it seems to me.
Again, as a company's perspective, what is their main focus at the end of the day? It's when you recruit people, you recruit more people, your brand is being, you know, marketed and you are able to sell the product, right?
Hmm.
So if this is a household name, you need to reach every household if
Right,
that's
of
what
course.
your target is, right? So the more you're not really investing in advertisements, you're not investing in like, there's no TV ads or uh, Instagram ads or anything like that. It's all word of mouth.
Mhm.
So when you go and meet these people, they're going to come and talk to you about the product and how much that product has done for them, how much it's, how it's worked for the family, how good it is. And honestly, I have used the product. So I know even if somebody comes and asks me, do you want to buy it? I'll be like, yeah, sure. Because I know how good it is.
Right.
Right. So, yeah. So you kind of that's how you market the product. So it's not like you're trying to make money out of through recruiting, but you're also selling the product at the same time.
Selling it
So
to
I'm
the
I'm still not
person.
to the person. Yeah, you're not only selling it to your network, but they are also selling it to somebody. So they are getting a commission out of it, and you're getting a commission out of it. So the more people, of course, the more people you have, the more commission you can get. But again, at the same time, I still don't think it's a pyramid scheme there. Because I've read so much about those, I still feel that most of them do have a joining fee. And many a times, not everyone can actually afford to, buy and keep products at home. What they would do is they'll order the products based on how much, what they need. So it's really based on, when they need something, they'll place an order and they'll get it. But it's not necessarily that they actually stock up.
Right. So the reason why the reason why I keep hopping back to a pyramid scheme, right, is because there was like this. So when in my research, I noticed that a lot of what you were saying sort of carries over to a pyramid scheme. So what the definition is that it's a system of making money based on recruiting an ever increasing number of investors. The initial promoters recruit investors, who in turn recruit more investors, so on and so forth. It says that they may or may not involve the sale of products or distributorships. So that's why, to me, the way the structure of the system is sounds like a pyramid scheme. But each to their own. It's not something that.
That's true. I think it also depends on the company that you're working with, right? So some
Right.
companies, I'm not saying there aren't pyramid schemes. There might be pyramid schemes, but with the companies that I've worked in, which I'm aware of, at least, as to my
You were with a
knowledge,
bigger brand, from what I
I
understand.
was.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was with a bigger brand, but it might seem like a pyramid scheme, but then the thing is, at the end of the day, the company has an objective, right? They are saying they have a sales target, and that sales target is set on people. So everyone's given a certain target and you have to meet that target. So you are selling a product, you are providing a service, and you're getting money for it, right? But in a pyramid scheme, it may not be necessary like that. So I'll just have to think of some example. But then again, from what I've read, there is some kind of an investment that you make, and you're expecting a return for that investment.
Got it.
And it may or may not be given.
So in your mind, in that case, how would you define a pyramid scheme?
I would say that whichever company that operates a pyramid scheme really doesn't have a good a good product, or they don't have a sales objective, right?
Right.
So it's just thinking of making money, not really providing a quality service. Whereas a multi-level marketing company, they know they are going to be, they are being watched. So their objective is to sell a certain product. And the companies that are in multi-level marketing, like let's say Avon, Amway, Tupperware, one of the biggest companies out there, it looks like a pyramid scheme, but at the end of the day, they are selling quality products, and they are, they're all they're all on the stock exchange, so they have shareholders to report to as well. So yeah.
So here, my experience with Amway is I have some Amway products at home. This is from a friend who was again part of a multi-level marketing company that had Amway products. They're not bad. They're actually pretty good. They're pretty good. I had one of the granola bars, and I was like, this is actually quite nice.
Oh, they have.
It was some cinnamon something, I don't even remember, but it was actually quite nice. They also have a sister brand, I believe, called Neutralite or NeutraHealth, or Neutralite,
amazing,
I think it's called.
Products.
Yeah, they were under investigation in the 90s, I believe, for putting out false marketing campaigns for their products. Like they said certain products helped some certain women get pregnant, even though they weren't pregnant for years. They had some products which apparently increase bone density, which I can't remember exactly what they were marketing the products as, but they got into hot water over these false claims, and they had to pay a huge fine at the end of it, really, and they had to come out and basically redesign their products, really. So there was they have had a bad history in the past, really. with multi-level
Mm-hmm.
marketing. So I can see why there's a stigma, a negative stigma associated with it. To give you my experience with multi-level marketing, I've had the weirdest experiences with it. I had a guy.
Okay.
So to give you what exactly happened back in 2017, I just got the job that I'm working with currently. I had someone approach me within where I worked itself, a customer, and she said, "Hey, there's this job opening that we have, and you seem like a really cool guy, and I'm just wondering if you'd be interested in hearing us out." So I said, "Cool, no problem." So I
Mm-hmm.
went down to the coffee shop and we sat down over there, and it was this husband and his wife, and they were telling me all kinds of really good stuff that they thought I wanted to hear, like like you want to be your own boss one day. One day, I'm sure you want to change the world, and we are in the business of changing the world, and we're gonna make this world a much better place to live. But they weren't actually telling me what they were doing. Like and I kept on
Yeah.
asking them. I was like, "What is the business?" He was like, "Oh, don't
Yeah.
worry about that. We'll get to that some other time. I just want to get a sense of where you are at right now, and I want to know, if you are down for changing the world." And I'm like, "What do you mean changing the world? Like what I mean by changing the world could be very different from what you mean by changing the world. Maybe you want to change the world by hitting it with an asteroid, right? That's something which you want to do, but that's maybe not something that I want to do, right?" So,
Yeah.
so when he started getting around to what he actually was wanting to say, I started getting the sense of this is network marketing. But at that up until that point in time, I never really understood. I never really knew what it was until this person actually came and started saying certain things about. Well, towards the end, he started talking to me about selling my own products and getting commission from other people and stuff. And I looked at him and I was like, "Is this network marketing?" And he looks at me and he's like, "No, I don't know what network marketing is. I've never heard of it." And he looks at his wife. He's like, "Have you heard of network marketing?" And she's like, "No." And I'm just like, I was like, "Come on, guys, just like be straight up with me. This is."
Was it a huge brand or
It was
well-known brand or
they weren't
just
telling me the
something?
brand, so they weren't telling me the brand. They didn't tell me anything as such.
See,
They were being very cryptic. They were being very, very,
that's
very
where
cryptic.
that's where you are able to define whether it's a multi-level marketing or a pyramid scheme.
Oh, I'm pretty sure it was.
Because if it was because if it was a multi-level marketing and if it was a very well-known brand, you won't even think twice to say what the brand name is and what they have to offer and what the sales objectives are. Because like I said, the day I was recruited, or rather pushed into, we went into this for this meeting, and that's what they talk about. So you're networking with people, like-minded people who want to earn money. And okay, let me be honest, they're mostly women, right? Who they were like, I think most of them were housewives, so they had time to go out and
Mhm.
make earn some money and things like that. So when you go into that meeting, you're being trained about a product. You are told that this is what the company's objective is. And there are some people on the top who are, setting these objectives and ensuring that it's being done. And whoever we have approached to, recruit or um, sell the product to, you're talking about the brand and what it does for you, right? But when you meet someone and they are not very open about the product or what brand they're using, you're like, oh, how
Well,
can I even
these
trust you?
these guys didn't even these guys didn't even tell me what they were selling. Like I had to literally
Yeah,
force it out of him. Like you just tell me if you want me to join, you have to tell me what you're
yeah.
doing, right? And
And
they didn't.
exactly. And the first thing they would have said is, you have to join and give a fee. And you'll be like, what? Why
Yeah,
should I just pay up?
yeah, exactly. And they never actually
Didn't
said
get
that.
there though.
So in terms of whether they were selling a bigger brand or a smaller brand, I do not know. What I do
Mm-hmm.
know is that there are MLMs that that do have a pyramid scheme, but I'm sure there are
Okay.
certain ones that don't. because there are the ones which are ethical and the ones which, of course, are not ethical, right? So
Yeah.
uh, that's from my own personal experience. That's the biggest one that stood out to me. I did
Mm-hmm.
meet someone else who I had a conversation with. It was a virtual conversation, much like this one, and I
Mm-hmm.
knew her from the previous place from my previous job where I worked, and uh, she brought her mentor into the picture, and they sold Amway products. Um, she was a little more forthcoming in terms of
Mm-hmm.
uh, in terms of what she did. Really,
Mm-hmm.
much like the initial conversation I had with the couple earlier, which I told you about. She was a bit ambiguous and cryptic in the beginning,
Mm-hmm.
but later on, she opened up more and she said, "Okay, the products I made, this is how it works, and this is everything." And the guy was standing there. So one thing that I found really weird about it is how friendly they were. I mean, it's not. Call me. I don't know.
They want you to be part of the network. They're
I
obviously
know.
going to
I
be
know.
very
They were.
friendly.
They were. They were. They were excessively friendly. It's like when
Yeah.
someone's way too friendly to you, you're like, why are you being so
I don't
so
need it
nice
though.
to? Yeah,
I
like.
know.
So he was sitting there, and his
I'm
wife
like that.
came. His Yeah. So you get exactly where I'm coming from, right? So his
Yeah.
wife comes at the back, and she sees that he's talking to me, and she turns around and she puts her head over his shoulder, and she hugs him, and she's like, "Oh, sweet, are you joining as well?" And I'm like, we're just discussing right now. Oh, nice. Where are you from? And I said, oh, I'm from India. Oh, you don't look Indian. And then I had to go through that entire conversation as I go through 100 times in a day with people who don't think I'm Indian. But like she was like, oh, I'm so happy that you're gonna join us, and we always love meeting new people, and you should come over for dinner one day. And I'm like, dude, I just met you guys. Like I met you and
Yeah.
your husband literally
Exactly.
like 7 minutes ago.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
my red flags start coming up when people
Are
behave
over friendly.
over friendly and behave in a way that makes it seem like they have ulterior motives for what they are doing.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a
Mm-hmm.
lot of the negative stigma that's attached to MLMs and pyramid schemes, well, MLMs in particular, pyramid schemes are illegal
Mm-hmm.
anyways. But a lot of the stigma that is associated with it comes from the way I guess people market these products, or the way people try and sell what they are doing to you. So I think
Mm-hmm.
that's one of the way, at least the way I see it. In terms of
Mm-hmm.
your experience, though, what made you want to leave?
Like I said, it's not everyone's cup of tea. So
Hmm.
if you're looking at, had I not been working and um, I was just going to be sitting at home, that's probably a very good idea to go out, approach people, and make some money on the side, right? But something like this really needs you to invest time. So if you have to make that sale, you have to invest a lot of time. It's just like any other job. It's go out, sell the product, create more network. Am I the kind who's going to go out and create that kind of network for myself? No, I'm a very career oriented person. I had different, goals in life. So that was definitely not what I wanted to uh, go through. So I decided that this is not for me. Um, with regards to commissions, no, I did not make as much because I probably did not put in that much effort. But again, let's think it practically. Like, would I have made that much money even if I had 20 people? I need all those 20 people to be working, right? I need
Right,
them all out earning
right.
that kind of sales. So it's a little it doesn't really work in real life, or at least for me,
Hmm.
it wouldn't have worked. So I decided it's better to focus on my career, and I continued with that. So but
Do,
even if somebody comes and approaches and says, hey, would you like to buy a product, I would be like, sure, why not?
mhm.
Because I know how good they are. So, and
Right,
I've tried Neutralite, by the way.
right.
It's
Yeah,
yeah, it's
they
pretty
have
good.
they have. I'll tell you what, their protein supplements and stuff are fine with me. My
Yeah.
what gets to me is when you have these. claims that a certain pill will increase your ability to be fertile, so you can have a baby. Yeah,
Okay.
there are things.
Um,
Sorry, go on.
sorry. So it just makes me wonder, there are these people who are going out and marketing a certain product, but then again, Nutrilite is one brand, but you have so many other brands available in a pharmacy who may not advertise the same thing, but they indirectly tell you that it's good for you for whatever, I mean, depending on what they're selling or what you're looking at buying, right? It's good for you, but how can you guarantee it's actually good for you until you don't try it?
That's a very valid point. That's actually a really valid
Exactly.
point. I
I have
think,
a friend who
yeah.
works with a company that has, again, supplements. They work with supplements, and it's found in Costco. You'll find it in London Drugs, and anywhere you go. It's only after I tried the product did I know, oh, they're really good.
Hmm.
So, there is competition, but then again, yeah,
Right.
false marketing it does, you will be like, oh, okay, that's not okay, but then it doesn't make sense. But then
Yeah,
again, how can
there
you
are
trust any other
companies.
brand out there?
Exactly, there are companies that do have false marketing. Really,
Yeah.
what I think went wrong with with Neutralite was that they were doing it over multiple products, and it wasn't like, your average claim that, or
Exactly, right?
this protein supplement is going to give you better muscles than the other protein supplement, right? That may
Yeah.
not really be true, but it'll give you
Hmm.
muscles, right? If nothing, it'll give you
Yeah.
muscles, or it'll give you some sort of mass, right? But when you invent a pill for a specific purpose, like
Exactly, that's where
like
the red flags
that,
are.
I think that's where it becomes a little dicey and a little seedy in terms of, yeah, I don't know if that actually will happen given how people's bodies work, really, and it differs from person to person. But really,
We
the
have an
reason
Indian brand. Sorry, we have an
that
Indian brand there
that
that
makes you
has all
pregnant.
kinds of claims. No, no. But you have a lot of, you have Patanjali. Like, a
Oh
lot of people
yes,
like
yes,
Patanjali,
yes.
but then you have
Patanjali.
those really
There was
weird
this
products as well on the side. Like,
dark thing which I remember. It was by Dabur. I can't remember. It was this like black mud like thing which you would eat, and apparently it's
oh,
healthy for people.
Chyawanprash.
Yes, yes,
It's supposed to
yes.
be really good for
It's
immunity,
supposed to
although
be.
I've not
Yeah,
tried it. I
yeah,
have no idea how it is.
yeah. I
But
know.
see,
Yeah, I used to have that as a kid. I used to surprisingly really
but hey,
love how
that's
it
all
tastes.
herbal stuff, okay?
That's all herbal
Yeah,
stuff.
it's
I
pretty
can
good.
stick herbal stuff as well. Look, they say Beyond Meat is healthy.
Hmm.
It's not. It's far from healthy. The Beyond Meat burgers,
Oh
but
man,
it's
I'm
marketed
starting
again.
to believe in it.
It's marketed
Or
as as a healthy product. It's vegan. If you look at the
yeah,
packaging, it's green in color and it looks all fresh and healthy and safe and stuff.
yeah,
But it's stuffed with a whole bunch of chemicals and fat and all kinds of things, really. So you'd be better off eating a beef burger than rather than having the Beyond Meat, just like in terms of
yeah,
the nutritional value, really. But again,
yeah.
it's marketed in a way that it's slightly healthier. So yeah, there's always these false marketing claims like all over. It's just, I think multi-level marketing companies, um, they get the bad brunt of it because a lot of these advertisers, like at least the ones who are advertising these product, are people like you
Mhm.
and I who just go out and sell the product, and we want to just sell the product, so we
Yeah,
say things, really, and someone will
yeah,
secretly record a video of you saying these things, and then like
exactly.
everything
Yeah,
just goes downhill from there, right? So I think, yeah, that's probably another variant of the problem, as well as the fact that the people who are selling the products don't fully understand the products as well. So when they talk, they say what they
yeah,
understand, but not fully what exactly the product is about. So I guess that's another reason,
exactly.
which is why
Yeah,
these
that's
companies.
possible.
Mhm. But in terms of so we've been focusing a lot on the negatives, really. As far as the positive aspects, what do
Hmm.
you think would be a positive aspect of being in an MLL?
I think it's all about networking, and they eventually like become a family. You end up making either friends for life or it breaks off. So if it works out, you are making friends for life. So I know a lot of people who are so well connected, and they meet every other week just to talk about their product. But again, they're helping each other out. Even during this COVID time, they're just helping each other out and things like that. So that's one positive thing. Again, product, product, product. The quality is so important, and if it's a really good brand, then that's real one that's the major standpoint for that brand, the product and the quality. So I think that's the most positive thing I would take from there.
Right. I do know someone. So when I did make that initial post on Instagram,
Mm-hmm.
uh, someone reached out to me who actually was really, really successful with MLM, with an
Mm-hmm.
MLM company. I think it was in Bangalore or Hyderabad,
Oh, okay.
one of those places. And he recruited, I think, over 100 people or so. He had a
Oh,
hundred people
wow.
below him. He said he had 100 people below him. Now I don't know if the 100 people below him were from directly himself, or it was from the trickle down effect of networking, really. But he
Okay.
was wildly successful with it. But from his perspective, he said that it was way too much hustle, way too much hustle. Like it takes up a lot of your time and
Exactly.
a lot of your space. uh he I asked him, I was like, did you feel like an entrepreneur? And he said, no. I didn't feel like an
So that's
entrepreneur.
what I said, right? Initially,
Yeah.
it really depends on a person. I mean,
Hmm.
um, I'm I'm into sales. So I
Hmm.
currently work as a sales supervisor. So I'm into sales. When you get 10 leads, 10 leads may not convert into a booking, right?
Right.
Out of those 10, you might just get two. So just to have 20 people, imagine the kind of networking you have to do um,
Right.
just to
Yeah, you
get
would
those
have to
20
meet with a
people.
lot of people.
It's a lot of people and it's a lot
Hmm.
of time. And if you're having a job, it's really tough to
Hmm.
go out and do this on the
Hmm.
side. So
Hmm.
yeah.
One thing I forgot to ask you was, uh,
Mhm.
is there any difference between the people who you sell to and the people who you recruit, in terms of, like, are the people who you sell to different from the people who you recruit, or is it more or less entangled with each other?
I think it really depends on who you approach and their preference.
Right.
Many people really buy into you will talk about the commission structure, and if they really feel that's what they're looking for, then they'll join you. But then there are other people who are just not interested, who don't have the time, and they'll be like, you know what, I just prefer to buy the products. They
Right.
could be friends, they could be family, so it's all a mix of people. And I think it really
Hmm.
depends on their preference. You can't really force somebody to get into it,
Of course.
but yeah, it really depends. I know um, there were some housewives who I had met. I'm not trying to say that they have a lot of time or something or
Hmm.
anything like that, but um, they wanted to focus on their family, and they were like, they're really not interested in these things, but they like the product, so they bought the product instead. But yeah, so it really depends on their personal preference.
And when someone goes to sell a product, is the
Mm-hmm.
intention purely to sell the product, or also part of that intention would be to potentially recruit that person?
Personally speaking, I would have gone to sell the product and
Hmm.
tried to, see if they're interested in recruiting. But I know a lot of other people who just want to recruit people, right?
Right.
Now, again, I was a newcomer, so I wasn't totally into this. But for my recruiter, who had already had, I think she already had like 30 people, she just wanted more people to join her uh, network. So because obviously it benefits her, right?
Hmm.
So
When
then,
you see that
yeah,
cash, like,
that's
yeah.
Yeah,
The more the merrier.
exactly.
The more the merrier, I
The
say.
more the merrier. Yeah. So then most of them do have, they do want to recruit people.
Right.
That's what they have in mind. Yeah,
Right. Okay. I can see that. I can see that being a big incentive as well, because
it is. Yeah.
the way it seems to me, again, I could be processing this wrong, and you can correct me if I'm wrong.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like there's a lot more incentive to just try and recruit people as opposed to purely
Mm-hmm.
selling the products as standalone products, simply because of how the commission structure would work. So if you
Of
meet
course.
someone who if you meet someone who you think is a good talker, maybe
Mm-hmm.
they would be a good idea to recruit them. I don't know what those people looked
Exactly.
at, saw in me to want to recruit me, because I'm someone who barely talks at all. So when these three or four people, I don't know if it was three or four, I can't even remember, but when they saw me, and I don't know what really struck them, that I could speak, or that I was interested in selling them a product really, but they tried. uh, they
Mm-hmm.
didn't try and actually sell me any product. That's the thing. They never actually did
Uh-huh.
try and. The girl who I spoke to virtually, she's actually quite sweet. I quite like her. She's got a
Okay.
good heart. She's quite a nice person and stuff. So even though I did say no at the end of it,
Mm-hmm.
um, she did still come over and drop some products off, and she said, try this, try that, uh, and I quite like it actually. So I'm actually thinking of reaching out to her to get some more of those protein bars, because I really like the cinnamon protein bars which Nutrilite
Yeah.
has. They're actually
Yeah.
pretty nice,
They're
and they're
pretty
better
good.
than
Yeah.
and they are better than a lot of the protein bars which we have outside over here at Save On Foods or
Mm-hmm.
whatever. So yeah. Um, One thing before you go, if you do you have any advice for someone who is thinking of joining an MLM, or potentially might be recruited by someone in the future? Because as someone, as being in Canada for the time that I've met people. I met a lot of people who have been recruited, who have been approached by an MLM. So for someone who's conflicted,
Mm-hmm.
what advice would you
Mm-hmm.
have for them?
Research. If you have no idea who the other person is, and they're not giving you the brand name upfront or who they're working for, then I think that just puts out a red flag, and you should avoid them. I would. Um, if I come to know about the brand, I would definitely do a little more research about the company, try to find out what they're into, if there are any lawsuits and what it's about.
Hmm.
So it's just doing your due diligence to see there. You have to, know the difference between, um, if it's going to be just a recruiting thing, like a networking scheme, or if they're actually genuine about their products and things like that. So do your research. Um, Again, if somebody asks you for money upfront, no. You just straight up no. You don't want to invest money into something without really knowing what you're getting into, right?
Hmm.
Um, yeah, that's something I would. And there are a lot of articles online regarding MLM and pyramid scheme and Ponzi scheme. So it's good to do your research. I would always suggest to join a well-known brand. Then if it's a new company, you have no idea what it is about, so avoid those. There are a lot of companies out there who sell their stuff in store, but then again, if somebody's coming approaching you, it's a completely new name, then you probably don't want to consider it. You don't know what you're getting into, and you don't want to get onto the wrong side of the law,
Right,
right?
of course. Yeah,
So yeah,
makes
that's
sense.
that's what I would do. I got recruited through someone I know, so it was safe for me. But then again, had some stranger approached me, I would have been probably like, no. I would rather do my research
Yeah, of
before
course.
getting into something. Yeah. A lot of people don't. They just, be like, wow, this scheme looks really good. I can earn money. I can be a millionaire in a few years. But no, it doesn't work that way,
I
right?
think I think the best salespeople come from MLMs, because
Yeah.
in all my experience, from these recruiters, they all are really, they can really talk. I may not
They
agree with
can.
everything. I may not
Yeah.
agree with what they're saying, that they're going to change the world or whatever, but they can really, really talk, and they can talk well.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
I can totally see people getting suckered in, especially if you don't do your research and all of that. There was this one guy who I would see consistently at Starbucks. There was a Starbucks back where I used to live previously, and he actually approached Nikki, who's my fiance. So he actually approached her to be recruited and stuff. And he's always like dressed in the most impeccable attire, like suit, tie, everything, like the full Shazam. But like once again, regular MLM and stuff. And I would see him consistently speaking to people at Starbucks. That same guy. And mostly, I would say probably 95% of the time, he's talking to a girl, to a woman. Like it's pretty crazy thing. But I guess that's the kind of person you have to be. You have to be like a hardcore salesman to join and to be successful in such a thing, because the hustle is on a completely different level. Like if you don't meet your sales target in whatever, like I don't know, in your bank or in your travel agency or whatever, you might get slightly chewed out for it, or they might say, why didn't you hit your target this month? But then you're still going to get paid at the end, right? But with this, if you don't meet your targets, you're not going to get paid. You're living entirely off the commission which you make from your products, right? So you need to be a really thick-skinned sort of person to be focused on getting those products out the door and recruiting people. So, but thank you so much for talking to me and giving me this insight into MLM. Really, I still think
it was helpful.
Yeah, I still think a lot of them are pyramid schemes. I'm not dismissing what you're saying. I think that where you were in particular was not, but there are a lot of them which definitely are. And unfortunately, I've 75% of the time, I would say 75% because that girl, she was really sweet. I like her. She's nice. 75% of the time, I've always had a bad experience with these people, right? So for me, like, I don't really have a very good impression of this business structure and this marketing strategy, right? So it's always good to hear another opinion on it and see where you come from as well. So I've taken a lot out of this conversation, really. So for me, thank you so much. I appreciate it. I really do.
No worries. You're welcome.
Awesome. So I'll let you go right now. Thank you once again, and it's been a pleasure. And I hope.
Thank you.
No worries. And it's been. You can always reach out to me if you're in Vancouver. Are you on the island right now?
I'm in Richmond.
You're in Richmond. Holy shit! I feel so bad. There you go. See, I'm horrible at this stuff.
I don't keep in touch. It's okay. I mean, I don't keep in touch. When I moved here back in 2018. It was a very silent move. So
okay.
I'm living here with my husband. So we should meet sometime.
Definitely.
Whenever
that might be. I don't know how long I don't know how long this COVID thing is going to last, but I'm sure we can always make time to meet up. But yeah, I'm going to let you go right now. It's been about an hour, so thank you once again.
Wow.
And yeah, I know it just flew by, right?
I know. For a minute before we joined, I was actually thinking, am I going to be able to talk for 1 hour? But then, yeah, you kind of managed it and got me talking for 1 hour, which is great. Because I'm like you. I'm not a person I'm a person with few words.
Right.
So
the reason why I started this podcast, right? Because I don't talk too much. Nikki always tells me, Nikki's my fiance. Nikki always tells me, like, she's like, you're so quiet, and you come across as a very introverted person. I was like, I can talk if I want to, and
hey, come on. Okay, when people say that, okay, I'm into sales. When I have to really get my target, I can talk. But
I guess,
outside,
yeah. I guess when you have a little bit of motivation, I think that's
exactly.
the thing
You
to
have
do.
something to look forward to, or
Yeah,
you really need that job.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So when I did
Yes.
this
Yeah.
initially, like I had a really hard time navigating conversations and stuff. But they say, right, the more you do something, the better you get at it. So I think like I've learned quite a bit since starting this,
You're
and of
pretty good at
course,
it.
thank you. And it's like, of course, you meet different people, and everyone has their own styles and aspects to them, and
Yeah.
the way they speak and the kind of things they say and
Mm-hmm.
stuff. So I have to sort of adjust for every person in terms of uh, the way they would prefer to talk or whatever. So for me, it's been a tremendous learning experience. So I've had some really good
Oh, that's
conversations, and
good.
then I've had some pretty awkward conversations. So if you want to watch, you can check out some of the other videos on the channel. I don't want to say who, but yeah. So I'll let you go, and see you soon, hopefully.
Yeah. See you soon.
Right.
Thank you
Take
for
care
having
now.
me.
My
Bye.
pleasure. All right. Bye bye.